boys are hungry. Hey, a team that we criticized for their lack of hunger, Borussia Dortmund clinched second place this week. And I apologize, is my order different from yours? I'm going off the app. I don't know if it's like different on the
That's the lineup I have.
Okay, okay.
Doesn't matter.
I know Paul called me out. So. Steven, I mean, what's the deal here? What's the deal here? But Dortmund is upset. Everything, all the players, they're saying, we wanted more than this. Lucien Favre is still on the hot seat. He very well could still be sacked even if they win this weekend. Is that the right mindset for Dortmund to have right now? I mean, they clinched second, so I mean that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But should they be upset?
Oh, they should definitely be upset. They lost some games they have absolutely no business losing this year. I mean, they only have themselves to blame for being second in general.
What was their lead? Was it 9 point, or is it more than that? When they had their biggest lead from Bayern.
I believe it was.
Yeah, I think Bayern was. I don't think Dortmund was first. I think there was another team that was first. And
Gladbach was first, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember Gladbach was first for several weeks.
Yeah, most of the fall, it seemed like.
Yeah. Because we had that one crazy match fixture day where the leaderboard was just going all up and down. And then Gladbach just took it and ran off with it for a while. But yeah, I mean, Dortmund had, for the first time in several years, they were ahead of Bayern for what seemed like a considerable amount of time. And like you said, with their Achilles heel, this whole the first half of the season, at least, it was their defense. Their defense was not good. There was multiple games where they multiple goals were scored. There was that game, I think it was early in the year with Leverkusen. It was 5-4. It was just goals everywhere.
That's how the first leg of this matchup was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Dortmund did what they needed to do to at least keep relevant in the race, with bringing in Haaland in the winter transfer period, and that seemed to spark them offensively, and that kind of spurred everything else into motion, and their defense started playing better and everything. But then.
I was just going to say, do you think making those moves, and there's also the Moyner deal, that I think is about to be announced. I think Bill announced it. Do you think that this is going to help them for the future? Just having this and saying we were this close.
Yeah, I think it will. I don't see a reason to sack a manager who got you second, though. I know it's not where you want to be. Obviously, you want to finish first, but given everything that happened this year, it's kind of understandable that you want to all right, well, we had this lead and we lost it, so that has to be on the manager. But I mean, you still finished second with everything considered. I don't see how you get rid of a manager that got you second.
It kind of reminds me of the argument for David Wagner, right? It's like,
yeah.
I mean, you had us first for most of the year, so we'll settle with second. And obviously, the thing's even more astronomical with Wagner because you had a second, and now we're sitting at 12.
It went completely opposite of what it was supposed to.
But yeah, and it's going to be interesting too because I feel like it's helping them hold on to players with Jadon Sancho. I think a lot of guys are pushing and saying, "Hey, look what you got here." Don't be in a rush. We have a chance to get you a title, and then you can hop away. And they're bringing in.
I mean, Dortmund was right there too in Champions League too. So.
And I know that one stung a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you see how with Haaland because I mean he was having a heck of a campaign even before he came to Dortmund. Was right there with Lewandowski with top goal scorer in the Champions League. So, yeah, they seem like another team that's been scorned and could be one to watch. But as we touched on, Gladbach's making moves. Still, things are to be seen with Leverkusen, but a lot of those top teams are only going to get better, which is going to make things really, really interesting. And then, I mean, on the RB side, Keena, RB aficionado, they just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get it going. And I think defensively, Dortmund had their night all night on the counterattack.
And they had a lot of the ball too. It was the battle was won and lost with the urgency of which both teams addressed loose balls and second balls. So Dortmund committed guys to recovering the ball once they lost it in droves. It was 4 or 5 guys surrounding the ball trying to get it back, whereas Leipzig was not committed to trying to win the ball back. They seemed lackadaisical and content to just sort of give Dortmund the ball and were not aggressive with it. And Dortmund made them pay. I mean, Mats Hummels was the Mats Hummels of old. He was literally dribbling through multiple guys and unleashing people. He was literally everywhere. He would take the ball from his own goal all the way to the other goal line, and on multiple occasions, it was one of his best games by far. Just a complete footballer the entire game.
Agreed. It's crazy seeing he and Hummels. And we'll bring this back up after this last match day. Is who's had the biggest turnaround? He and Boateng, because that's something that we've seen, kind of this resurgence, right? Where after the World Cup, people said they're both done. They both are done.
Well, and Thomas Muller too.
Yeah, Thomas Muller too. Which I think Yogi Love said some things about him again. I'm gonna have to pull this up. We can touch on that in this show. The disrespect there. I mean, well, I'll ask you this too at the end of the season, but ranking this as far as his seasons go, at least league-wise, it's one of his best. I'll leave it at that. If not, well, no, I'm not gonna say, but it's one of his best.
He's got another game. We'll see at the end.
Which, sorry to ramble on about this one. The commentators this week said that he was still tied with De Bruyne. Do we know if he has the record or not yet?
No. So there's speculation, and as to whether or not, what we had reported before was that 21 was the record, which was owned.
How do they not know the record?
It's in dispute right now as to what the record is, whether it was 19, 20, 21, and who, in addition to Kevin De Bruyne's Wolfsburg stint, had it. Because remember, a few weeks back, we talked about it on the show that it belonged to Ribéry and to Kevin.
I didn't even hear that. I heard he had a De Bruyne because we talked about him and Bastos.
Right. So, but before that, we had talked about it. It might have been off air. You and I talked about it. But Ribéry actually had supposedly 21 assists back in like 11-12 season or something like that, in that era.
Right before his Ballon d'Or still, yeah.
Yeah, so right around that time. So what it comes down to is 22 assists is the undisputed new winning number.
And he's at, 19 right now? Or he at 20?
I believe he's at 20.
All right, so he's got to get him a couple this week, just to pat the stats. I mean, that's the same thing Lewandowski's doing on the scoring, because he's not going to break Gary Muller's. But I mean, he's as far as foreign player in the league, he broke that tie that he had with Ab.
Thomas is sitting at 20.
20, yeah. So get him a couple this week. Get him a couple.
Yeah.
Go a little bit quicker through these other ones.